You were the first one that approached us. But right after you, it was unbelievable how many people were walking up to us, asking us about our tent, asking us about the setup, asking us about the FJ. It was like they thought we had been doing this for years. And when we told them this is our first camping trip, this is our first Overland East experience, they were just like blown out the water, like, you gotta be joking. They say the way you have this thing set up, it's like you guys have been doing this for years. And that made me feel good, because I said, okay, we're on the right track. So, but the people, everybody was just been so friendly and so helpful with their, we ask questions and they're patient with our questions. It's just unbelievable, man.
Good morning. We are the Lomax'S family coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, here with Waypoint Overland TV, and we are at Overland East in Virginia. Our first time overlanding experience, our first time camping experience, and we're having a wonderful time.
I was born and raised in Akron, Ohio. My parents migrated from the South. My dad was from Mississippi. My mom was from Georgia. And 1985, I moved to Georgia. And in 2010, I relocated to Chicago.
And I was born in Akron, Ohio, born and raised. And we actually dated in high school. And went our separate ways in high school once he graduated, and we both, created our own families. And then, 30 years later, we ended up finding each other again after our marriages had gone the other way. And about how many years ago? About 10 years ago?
10 years.
About 10 years ago, we found each other on social media, and it was a plan that he would move to Chicago. I had more time on my job there, and with him staying to the time that I could retire, he would be retired. So we retired on the same day in October of 2021, and had a plan to move to Georgia. We moved to Georgia the day after we retired and executed our plan.
No, we did not grow up off-roading or traveling. We come from a family of 8, so it was kind of difficult for us to travel like that. But when I got in high school and college, that's when I began to venture out. But I never overlanded at all. This was our first amazing overlanding trip, and I wish I would have done it years ago.
My family didn't camp at all. We did not overland. I didn't even know what overlanding was until we started watching YouTube. We just thought it was camping. And then when Dale and I got together and took a couple trips out west, we went southwest, and then we went north on our honeymoon and went to, I think we've hit most of the western states. We've been to Mexico, Texas, Idaho, Colorado, Utah, where else? Oklahoma, if that counts. Arizona, and then into Canada. And we realized that this is something that we wanted to do on a more regular basis. Then we discovered overlanding.
We are living our best life. We retired October 30th, 2020, and it's just been, we worked on our house for several years, and we're about done with that. In Georgia. So now we're just ready for the open road and just enjoying life, being able to go in the backwoods and just camp and relax and just enjoy what God has created. We met in high school, actually, back in Akron, and like Melanie said earlier, we went our separate ways, and she started her family, I started my family, and 30-some years later, we reconnected, and the rest is history. We're having a great time. We have so much in common in terms of camping and just adventure, And so it's just great.
We found our peace,
Right.
with each other, and we found our purpose. We found a new life for ourselves, and this is just the icing on the cake, doing this type of thing together.
Well, actually, I was the first one to watch YouTube, and that's what really encouraged me to get to FJ, because I'm looking at YouTube and I saw this thing called Overlanding, so I was curious. I said, okay, what's going on? And I just started watching it, and I just got so into it. And then I said, okay, because at that time the FJ Cruisers was the thing to have. It wasn't the Jeeps or even the Tacomas or 4Runners. They always was showing FJ Cruisers, the FJ Summit, and I guess that's in Utah. And I said, oh, we have to have one of those. And then I started, 2018, I was looking at Overland West, and I saw this black couple, Staples and Tents. I said, whoa, black folks is into this. And then I found out they were in Georgia. And I said, wow, we're moving to Georgia. And so we reached out to them, and we kind of corresponded, not much, but just let them know that, I saw them, and I bought their t-shirt when it first came out, and I was stoked. But we didn't really start overlanding until 4 years later, because we were working, and it was hard to get away from work, to spend this type of time out in the wilderness. So we just put it on the back burners and just started putting our truck together, putting the lift on it, and we bought the tent, 5 years ago? 4 years ago, because it's a 4-year tent. Never used it until this weekend. So it's just been amazing and exciting.
So it's a Gazelle T4 Plus, something like that. I think it's like an 8-man tent, but for us, it's a bedroom and a lounge area. And a way to get away from the rain or inclement weather. It's a screen room in the front, and a privacy wall separates the two. You can zip it open and close, but we have a queen size Coleman cot with an air mattress attached to it in the back, and it's very, very cozy, and we love it.
And the Teton sleeping bag is amazing.
Amazing.
And we have like the little end tables on each side of the cot where you can lay your cups and your watch and whatever you have to put up for night. It's just perfect. Perfect. Again, it was Staples and Tents. We saw them doing their demonstration of setting up this tent. And I said, man, let's take a look at that tent. And we saw it, and Melanie ordered it on Amazon.
I don't know where we ordered it.
Yes.
It was over. And as soon as we saw this, it was over.
As soon as we saw the tent on their YouTube channel, we went and bought it. Back in 2007, my brother bought a FJ, and we drove from Georgia to Ohio, and I drove and I said, man, this is amazing, because I didn't think I would like it, but it was so tight and the torque was just there
and smooth
and so smooth.
Yeah.
I said, we're going to get an FJ, but she didn't know anything about an FJ. So when we went and test drove the Rubicon Jeep, like she said, it was kind of rough for us. Then I took her over to a Toyota dealership. I said, well, Mark has a FJ. I said, let's take a ride in there. As soon as she got in there, she said,
this is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Yes.
Yeah. So we were sold on it, and haven't looked back since.
One of the great things, her kids and my kids were already out the house. That's the first thing.
So that was not a hurdle.
We had planning. We invested in deferred comp plans and a lot of stuff on our job. So we were planning for this time. So we invested. We made sure that we weren't knee deep in debt, because I know I love to spend and I like to buy the best of the best. So I said, hey, I'm going to save for this. And we just basically just laid money aside because we knew this is what we were going to do. And we did it. There were no hurdles at all.
The only hurdle was time.
Exactly.
Getting done with our employment.
Right.
COVID helped. If COVID helped anything, it helped us with our time because our final year of work, we both worked at government jobs in Chicago. And we were able to not only work on our house in Georgia from Chicago, just going back and forth for the, 3 years? 3 years. We bought it in advance and started working on it.
We bought it on her birthday.
Yeah.
2017.
Yep.
November 30th.
And started working on the house and working on our plan to execute it October 31st. And that's what we started to do. The only hurdle was time, having the time to pull our plan together, buy all of the equipment that we needed, we felt was important for us to take this trip. And we realized that this expo experience for us, because it's closer to Georgia and not going all the way out west and realizing we needed something, this was a great inroads into the community, for one. For two, what equipment do we need? Are we happy with what we have with the tent camping? Do we want to expand on that and buy a trailer, which we've been looking at this event? We've really learned a lot. So almost as like a business trip, an overlanding business trip, for us to figure out if this is what we want to do this way, or if we want to expand, get a rooftop tent, or how we want to move forward with it. But we're happy with what we've done this time. We didn't miss a beat.
And I think one of the pluses was we went into the event and we looked at everything there, but we learned more walking around the campsites, talking to other campers, and how they transition from one vehicle to another, or one camp space to another. So
yeah,
that helped us tremendously.
Yeah.
Our goals to attend Overland East was to find out what people were doing and how they were doing it. Something as simple as, how do they use the bathroom out of this? Things of that nature, do you have to be worried about, of course, bears and mountain lions, and what do you do to protect yourself? Those were my concerns. I mean, should we go in a group, or is it safe to go,
by ourselves?
Yeah. So I those are the kind of questions I was asking, and I got several different answers, and they were great, because now we know better how to plan, and if we go somewhere, plan and prepare, and when we go somewhere, maybe we can reach out to somebody else in the community and say, hey guys, we're going to be in this spot at such a time, let's meet up.
Yeah.
So that was great.
And one of my goals was to find people who have this in common and make connections, meet people, and be able to reach out wherever we go in the country and say, hey, we're going to be in town, we're camping, we'd like to meet up with you. And we've met so many wonderful people here. It's like a tight-knit community, and we love that.
Our expectations, it was exceeding. Okay, it was exceeding. You were the first one that approached us. But right after you, it was unbelievable how many people were walking up to us, asking us about our tent, asking us about the setup, asking us about the FJ. It was like they thought we had been doing this for years. And when we told them this is our first camping trip, this is our first Overland East experience, they were just like blown out the water, like, you gotta be joking. They say, the way you have this thing set up, it's like you guys have been doing this for years. And I that made me feel good, because I said, okay, we're on the right track. So, but the people, everybody was just been so friendly and so helpful with their, we ask questions, and they're patient with our questions. It's just unbelievable, man.
I think it's been kind of cool that we planned on looking the part.
Yeah.
And then fake it until you make it. And we felt so comfortable, like we didn't feel like we were new at this.
Right.
Because of, just people coming up and, loving what we've done here and how we have our little site set up. That's all us, because that's what we do. We do that in our home, and we're going to transfer that to what we do on the outside. But it brought people to us when we weren't as comfortable going to them. And then after a little while, you were just walking all over there and over here and reaching out to people. And thanks to you, started it all.
And not only that, the people we see on YouTube, like Lifestyle Overland and
Trail Recon,
and We Are the Russos, I actually got to meet them after watching them all this time on YouTube and actually meeting them, and they're just as genuine as they are in real life as they are on TV. So that was a plus
real
for
cool.
me.
Yeah,
That was real cool.
they're just like us. I really have and I know the question is not about regrets or anything else like that, but what I wish I would have known. So first of all, I have no regrets about anything that I've done in the method in which I chose to take the path, the road, with my family, with my kids, with my career choices. I'm very happy with how I got here. The only thing I wish I had during those 30 years was him in my life, so that we could experience this earlier and bring our kids along. That's the only thing. That was an all moment.
Well, I really have no regrets, because I think every step you take is a learning process, and I think you only strive to get better. I don't really look back and say, man, I should have done this, could have done this. I say, well, that was a lesson, so I won't repeat it again. Ironically, one of my regrets is I wish I would have joined the Navy at 17 and went to the Navy and did 30-year career. My brother was in the Navy, and I always liked the outfits. But
that's him.
But just to be in that, I never desired to be in the Marines or the Army, but I should have went to the Navy. But that's my only regret. Other than that, I have a beautiful family with wonderful kids, and I am just blessed beyond measure.
You would look good in that uniform.
I think so.
Yeah. What I've learned is life is too short for drama, and leave it at the door. We have a sign in our backyard that says "Be nice or leave." I don't like issues. We don't like drama at all. We shy away from. We go in a different direction, and I really learned, and I tried to teach the people in my office. I had a stroke back in 2011, and they couldn't find a cause for the stroke, but there were some incidents that day involving my kids in vehicles. Nothing really serious. It's just parking and towing and stuff like that. But I said to him in the car, I'm not going to let this stress me out. And I was laughing, and he looked at me, and I was having a stroke. And
I'm the one who told her she was having a stroke, because it was a continuous laugh, like she couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And I said, "You're having a stroke." And she
I said, "No,
"What?"
I'm not.
No, I'm not. And thank God we was on maybe 2 blocks from the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, we picked her up and put her in a wheelchair and took her in. You was in the hospital, what, about 2 weeks?
No, a couple days.
Couple
Because they
days.
couldn't figure out
But they
what it
could
was.
not ever figure out what happened. But I told her, I said, that's your inner stress.
It's
You need
stress.
to let that go. Because it's one thing about me, everybody used to call me happy-go-lucky, because I just don't let anything stress me out. I just don't like it. It kills you. It makes you ill. So
It's unhealthy.
and when I had my kids were coming up, if me and my ex were stressed, we'd go to the beach. We'll go down, because we live in Georgia, so we'll go down to Daytona Beach, or we go to Myrtle Beach, just because I had to be around water. That's my stress reducer, water. Cigar now, but water. But I don't sweat the small stuff, I don't let people come into my life that's going to bring a negative energy, because I know that is not healthy
Good
at
for
all.
you, yeah.
And I got to tell people all the time, live every day, enjoy every day, because tomorrow's not promised to you, So whatever you have to do the day, you do it. If something you have to say to somebody, you say it, because you may not get that chance. So I just say live every day, live it to your fullest.
Yeah. In the last 12 months, the best investment that we've made in our overlanding equipment to enhance our experience has been our Iceco dual zone refrigerator.
And that Coleman cot.
Oh yes, the Coleman cot, the air mattress
with the
cot.
air mattress.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Recommended highly. Loved it.
The only thing we've done when we first got the FJ, we went to Arizona to Sedona, and there was a little hiking trail, and we were able to drive our truck up in there. I mean, that was actually the first time when we first bought our truck.
And you needed a 4x4 with ground clearance?
Yes. So that was the first time. That's before we did the lift on it and everything. And we kind of just put it through the test. And I said, this is nice. But then I started watching guys doing lifts because of, we're not going to ever do rock crawling. But they said you have to have a good clearance to go on some off-roading. So I'm looking forward to going back to Sedona to go to Snivelly Hill and to go through that path, so I'm looking forward to that. But
also, when we went to Glacier National Park, we went to Pole Bridge.
Right.
And Pole Bridge took us up through some unpaved roads.
Right.
And through some of the forest that had been burnt down and what have you. So I don't think any of those roads were paved.
No.
That doesn't mean it's overlanding, but it was our first overlanding, one of our first experiences. Yeah.
Right.
Our favorite trails that we've taken so far, which were just in our FJ Cruiser without any camping equipment or anything else like that, would probably be in Glacier National Park. It's beautiful beyond words. But we also did the Arches National Park, which was very cool.
Yes.
It was very big. Didn't realize how large that park actually was. And then going through Monument Valley and Valley of the Kings, that whole experience when we took those trips was actually encompassing everything that we want to do.
And we had no idea that we had just blew past Moab.
No idea. We were trying to get to Arches.
No idea. We wanted to go to Arches, and when we got back,
we looked at a map
to Chicago. Actually, I was watching Overlanding. That's when they were having the FJ Summit. And I said, that's Moab. I said, we went right past it. But we didn't know that. We just went to Arches.
So our next trip the next trip that we're planning is to go to Overland West and then maybe spend a couple weeks out and retrace our steps.
Right.
With the camping experience, overlanding experience, and stay a little while. Because we just stayed like 7 days on each trip that we took out. And it was like, hurry, we got to get back to work. Well, guess what? Well, we don't have to do that anymore.
No.
He made chili before we left.
Right.
So that was our first meal.
Right.
And then
and we had nachos, actually.
And we had nachos, yeah. And that was
yeah.
very good. And it's easy because it was already pre-made in the refrigerator, pop it out. Because we were just excited to be here. We had spent all this time setting up our Taj Mahal tent that just to sit back and relax and eat this chili, which was very good. But I think one of our favorites is going to be the chicken fajitas.
Yes.
And we shared it with our neighbor yesterday after he got back from
the nachos, we shared nachos with him
we
the
did.
First day. Then the second day he came over after he did his exhibition over there. And
we're mighty neighborly.
Yeah. So he had the chicken fajitas.
Chicken fajitas, that was very good.
They were really good.
Those are going to be our two staples.
Right.
I think that our special meal that we would prepare if we were having people over would be probably the same type of meal we would have at our house. And that would probably be a fish fry.
Fish fry.
Yeah, fish fry.
Yeah, we love to do fish fries. In fact, the group we met last night where we had the bourbons and sticks, and Wade is a bass fisherman and all that, so he's going to bring the fish next year, and I'm going to fry it. So we're going to have a fish fry over there. My bucket list for traveling and adventure will be, I want to take her to Africa. Because I went in 2002, and I think every African or people of color need to go to the continent to see where it all started. It was one of the most memorable trips I'll ever be on, and I want to take her because I want her to feel the same thing that I felt. But as far as the overlanding, we just want to see everything. You know, we want to go to Zion, we want to go to Grand Tetons, and eventually I would like to. And I heard Staples and Tents talking about one time that one of their dreams is to probably ship their vehicle over into Africa and do overlanding over there. So those are my aspirations. You know, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, I don't want it to be limited by
Right.
anything. I'm the type of person that if I see a mountain and I see a road that may lead there, that's where I want to go. And he says, you can't do that everywhere. You can't go on people's private property. You know, and that's the only thing that limits me because I'm an adventurer. I want to see things. I want to go places. And I want to find those spots that aren't necessarily on the map.
Right.
You know, find a dirt road that I can go down and just see what's at the end of that dirt road. But for the most part, the bucket list, we share the same bucket list. I want to go where he wants to take me.
You can find me on social media on Instagram, DLomax2, or on Facebook, Dale Lomax.
And I can be reached through Instagram at Melanie8192 or Melanie Lomax on Facebook.
And we just appreciate the way you approached us on Thursday when we first got here. That was the most welcoming thing because we had no idea what we were going to do and who we were going to talk to. And when you approached us, that's just eased us into the overlanding experience. So we appreciate you doing that.
It was an icebreaker.
Yes.
I loved it.
Thank you. That is something that I make an effort to do because it was done for me.
Great.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
So we're ending this, and since I changed my format and I decided to talk, I'm going to end it by talking to my audience for a second and saying that I want you to stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully I'll see you here or on the trail soon.
Absolutely. Cool.